Strangers Prey at Night, directed by Johannes Roberts, starring Bailee Madison as Kenzie. She is a teenager that has been causing a lot of trouble for her family. She's been causing so much trouble to the point that her family has decided they're going to send her off to a boarding school. And at the same time, their son is on his last year of high school and is getting ready to go to college. So they decide, since this may be their last day together as a family before each of the kids go off on their own separate ways, the daughter going off to a boarding school and the son going off to college, they decide, let's go on a camping trip. Let's go stay together at a trailer park before we take Kenzie off to the boarding school for a couple of nights. And while they're at the trailer park, you got these three crazy people in masks with knives. Two of them have knives and the other one has an axe trying to kill the family. And that's pretty much our horror movie, and a very bad horror movie at that. Now this is a sequel to the 2008 horror movie The Strangers, which I did not see. And now I'm curious to see, because I hear it's a pretty good horror movie, and considering how bad this sequel is, I'm curious to see how good the previous movie was. Now, I like horror movies, but I like them when the protagonists are characters I can actually care about and root for, and where the villains are scary enough and the suspense is good and all. But really, this movie is not that good. And the villains were alright, but the protagonists were stupid. They make the dumbest and very cliche mistakes in this movie. The main ways you can get out of a situation like this, there are three ways. You need a phone to call for help, a gun to use to kill the killers, and a car or some vehicle to use to get away from the killers. This family has access to all three items. They have access to a phone, but when they get to the phone, they find out they don't use it to its full potential, or the phones they do have are broken by the killers. And then you have the car, which ends up being totaled by the killers, since the killers have a truck at their disposal. And with the gun, they never use it. They get access to a handgun, but they don't use the handgun. Brilliant! And you almost get the feeling like these four protagonists really don't care about their lives and not even trying to stay alive within this situation. So how can you root for them, really? I mean, you've seen characters making such bad mistakes, I almost felt like rooting for the killers more so than the protagonists, really. And the killers in this movie are pretty cliche. There's not much to them, really, all that much. Really, the only good thing about this movie is that it started out with a pretty good atmosphere, but once you see that the protagonists are so stupid within the movie, that pretty much loses all the suspense, and I just really didn't care afterwards. So, this is a terrible movie. I'm gonna give this movie an F. Don't see this movie. Don't bother with it. Go see something else. And that's all I gotta say for Strangers Prey at Night.